up these men, these teachers, to set, to teach the understanding. It's beautiful. It's truly a beautiful thing, marvelous thing to witness, man. And it shouldn't be taken lightly, man. The scriptures say, Yahawashi said, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Right? Because our people, the majority of our people, even myself and the apostles, the elders, that at one point in their lives, we were all under gross darkness, man. We didn't have that light, we didn't have that understanding. We had no clue who we were. We had no clue that we had an idea who our enemies were and are, but we didn't know it according to scriptures, man. We didn't know history like that. History in school was George Washington chopping down a damn what was it, fucking cherry tree or whatever. Like, who gives a fuck about any of that shit? We learned about history according to what Esau, even the so-called white man, wanted us to learn in his school systems. But we didn't have a full understanding of history according to who we are, because according to Esau, our history, if you listen to this devil, our history starts at slavery, and we clearly had a history way before that, and that's documented in the Bible, but we wouldn't know that if Bahasham Yahawashi didn't send down teachers, who studied to show their self-approved, who went out to the highways and byways, who sincerely put their best foot forward, man. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit, in this lesson, because, this is why we give double honors, to the apostles and elders of GMS, man, because they truly are men that have been laboring in this truth for decades, man, and are sincere and are as father figures, for us younger brothers, man. I can give a quick, a testimony of Apostle Gabar, which I share. I enjoy listening to all the apostles. When it comes to Apostle Gabar, he loves music, and I love music. We all love music, but he has I used to make music and everything, so I share that bond with him when I listen to his lessons. You know what I mean? But I remember, it was a few years back, around, it may have probably 4 or 5 years ago, 3-4 years ago probably, when this whole CV crap was going on. Well, a little bit before that, but I ended up having a real bad argument with my father, my biological father, and typical, curse, father not in the light, in my life type of thing, but I still spoke to him from time to time, but it was one of those, it was one of the curse type of thing, you know what I mean? But I didn't want to speak to him anymore. I was so upset, I was so mad that I was basically saying to myself that I'm through, I'm done, and I don't want to talk to this man no more. And through the spirit, Apostle Gabar, what seemingly, it seems random, but there's nothing random. But he did a lesson right around that, right maybe a day or so later, and it said the title was something to the effect of, "You brothers make peace with your fathers." And I listened to it and I'm like, man, I was at a loss for words because it was like I say, the brothers, with the body, the way things happen through the spirit, the way the Lord is moving and inspiring brothers, I'll have a thought, or we'll talk about something at a camp, at camp, or what have you. And then all of a sudden, a brother that we never even met, but he's, speaking the same thing, will say the same thing. And we're almost like, damn, it's almost like we called that brother and talked to him about it. But that's the power of Bahasham, Yahawashi, man. So, Apostle Gabar, was saying, make peace with your fathers and everything, you Israelite men, and you have to remember that you're an Israelite because he's an Israelite. Damn, I'm like, man, like, Apostle's right, man, like, so I called him, I think it was like the next day, my father, and we chopped it up, and we explained each other's points, and we reconciled, and it was beautiful. And then the jump shots came out, and I told my father, don't take it, it's poison, don't trust this damn devil, and all that, and long story short, he took it, and hey, he's in the spiritual realm, what I'm saying? So, but like, the point of this lesson is, if I would have felt 10 times more worse if that had happened to him, and I never reconciled, before he went to the spirit realm, you know what I mean? It's a lot of these fucking people are just absolutely retarded out here. Forgive me. Yeah, so and I say all that to say that just proves that these devils are done yet, nigga? Damn, it's lucky. These devils want us to be, disconnected from our power, disconnected from knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and they hate the fact that, the Heavenly Father have, oh my God, Salakia, hold on. Salakia. I seen the culprit, of course, is a damn fucking look like an N-dub. Yeah. Still, just multiple demons on it. But anyway, but that's why, the importance of having teachers, because we know all these different things through the spirit because of our beloved teachers that go out there, faithfully and push this glorious word, man, and give us hope through the spirit and power of Yahawashi, man, because otherwise we'll be through out here, man. The apostles and elders and our big brothers, GMS and like-minded brothers have taught us so many things that we can use to navigate, in this wicked world that we live in, man. Things like, if you get pulled over, how to conduct yourself, like the scriptures say, you know what I mean? So there's so many things that we have learned from our teachers that we take heed of, man. You know what I mean? And we have to truly, really, give double honors, man, sincerely to these men, man, because they were looking up all this information, before the internet. They were going to the library, and doing all these things, looking these, information up, even probably before the blue letter, I would imagine. I believe, So we have to really remember the importance of the teachers, man. You know what I'm saying? And how important it was that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi sent them, to push this marvelous word and the ministry, so that we got this understanding, so that we would have hope, that we would have faith, understanding, wisdom, knowledge, because otherwise, hey man, we were doomed out here, man. We were completely doomed, man. I mean, like, just something like the online etymology, going into the study of words, is amazing. Understanding what it means, breaking it down, knowing what compound words are, and different things that we might have heard in school or whatever, but having it in a real life understanding, according to what's actually happening, is beautiful, man. So it's just a quick hit. We definitely gotta give double honors to the apostles, the elders, like-minded brothers and teachers, that truly teach this word in truth and sincerity, man. Stupid ass bitch, retarded, man. So now we can, understand why the things that are happening. We can see, the prophecies unfolding because of the labor, that the men that look out for our souls have done. Shit, even before a lot of us was even born, they was already started doing that, man. So, we definitely have to thank Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi for setting these men up, man, and remember the importance of the teachers, man, and the prophets, So, that's pretty much it. I just want to do a quick hit, Salakia, this fucking demon, every time, I do a lesson while I'm driving, these damn demons, but it's surrounded by damn demons, but, it always escalates with Satan, that makes it escalate as, after the button gets pressed, but, hey, the show must go on, as we were commanded to do, as Ezekiel was told, eat the whole roll and go out and teach the children of Israel. So once I understood it, like my brothers and younger brothers, we were capable of teaching. Guess what? We went out and teach, because if it wasn't for the Lord putting the Spirit on the men before us to do the same, we wouldn't even know the truth, man. So that's the importance of putting your hand to the plow and continuing to do this work, continuing to labor, because as Yahawashi said, truly the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. So there's a lot of work to be done, so if you're blessed to be a laborman, and the Lord's occupation, right, the Lord's you're employed by the Lord, do your work, with a sense of pride, man. Let me say it that way, man. Righteous pride, man. So I hope we pray this lesson was edifying to the elect and comforting. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham Yahawashi. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders, GMS, who teach you well, taught me is true. Salutation, brothers and sisters out to listen and learn, and fight this good fight of faith. We fight, we strive to push almost out of here. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity.